going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Weekly Waddle. As I mentioned last week when I was with my guy Nate, I was going to interview a famous TikTok star, and here she is. So you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Anna Primavera. I go to YSU. I'm a marketing student, but I also do social media marketing through TikTok and Instagram.
All right, dope. So I already know Anna a little bit, but I'm going to ask her a couple questions so she can explain to you guys her whole TikTok stardom and how she got started and whatnot, because she's a really dope person. So Anna, the first question is, I just want to ask you, what made you want to start getting into TikTok?
Honestly, there wasn't an exact moment. It all started in quarantine. This was like right in 2020 when I was a senior in high school and school was, people had to go home. And I was just really bored. I was looking for something to do. And I literally, it's crazy, but I just uploaded my first hair video and it went viral out of nowhere. So I'm like, oh, people actually like this, or this is something I like doing. So I just kept making videos, and that's how it all started, I guess.
Okay. So when did you realize first that, you can make it into, like, I know you don't do it right now, but sort of is as like a career. When did you first notice that you can actually make it more than just like a hobby? Because there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that are in college, and nothing's wrong with it, that just post TikToks just to post them, but you're doing it more,
Yeah.
So explain that.
I think because there is a market for what I'm doing. So like I had said, but I hadn't mentioned earlier. So I do hair videos primarily. So I show hair products, things like that, hairstyles, and seeing the responses from people saying this is such a good idea, I'm going to do this tomorrow. Just seeing how many people were interested and seeing that there was a market out there that I could go towards, and a lot of companies reaching out to me. I remember I got like my first email, and it all starts, it's kind of just like they asked you, oh, do you want this for free? And like that in itself is exciting.
Right, for sure.
So getting that first email, I think it was like a sunglass company. They're like, do you want, to wear sunglasses for like a post? And I'm like, of course. And I think once I started getting more like offers from hair companies, I just started building upon that and seeing that I could potentially make a career out of it.
How far deep were you when that sunglass company reached out to you?
I think, so I was one of those creators where I didn't have as many followers as I did like views. Like my ratio was like off. Like when I first started uploading videos, my first video instantly got like 1 million likes. And then I would upload like every single day after that, and the next video 2 million, 1 million, like, and it was just lots and hundreds of thousands, stuff like that. But I was still relatively new, so I only had like 50,000 followers. So I'd say at that point was probably when I got my first email. But of course, at that rate, I didn't even think anyone would even reach out to me. So I was just completely okay with offering or accepting something that was free. But then I realized, oh, wait, I think what I'm doing is worth more than this. But yeah, probably that.
So my next question is, like, do you, as of today, can you give us maybe how many endorsements you have, or can you also tell us which ones you pass up on? Have you passed up on any either?
Yeah. So I'd say I've worked with a lot of brands in the past, but I'd say like my biggest ones, the ones I work with often, I work with L'Oreal, Garnier Fructis, what else? Sugar Bear Hair, Sun-In. I mean, it's honestly kind of a lot to remember.
You work with everyone.
K18, Olaplex, like crazy. Yeah. So a lot of those big companies, the good thing is I do enjoy a lot of their products, but I will always try stuff out before, if obviously I make a video. The types of things I turn down are either products that I've tried out and I didn't like, or things I don't see my audience enjoying, or things that just didn't really make much sense. So I get a lot of, since I do like more beauty videos, like hair videos, then I'll get a lot of like makeup offers, and I'll get a lot of skincare stuff. But I'm also not the type, I don't want to just sell my audience things that I don't love or that I don't think they will. So I'll pass down on a lot of those. But if I try out the product and I genuinely like it, then I'm like, okay, let's work together on this. Let's see what we can do.
So how much do you post a week? How much do you spend time maybe recording something? Or how much time do you spend like trying out products, like you said, before you make the video?
So it really just depends on what the product is. I've taken a little bit of a break as of right now, just with school, and summer was super busy. But when I'm posting often, and like my regular schedule, I'd say I post at least once a week, and I typically have like 3 or 4 drafts waiting in my drafts just to be just to be safe, just to have something to upload. To film stuff, it actually takes a lot longer than I anticipated in the beginning. It seems like, you watch a 30-second video, it seems like it would take like a minute to make. But if it's like something where I need to wash my, like I have a lot of hair. So if it's something I have to wash my hair and dry it and style it and getting all the shots perfect, it does take a long time. I'd say on average it takes maybe 3 hours to film like a TikTok.
3 hours?
Yeah, it takes a long time. I mean, if you combine the shooting, the editing, the cutting down, the adding, and making sure it meets all the brand's requirements, takes a good chunk of time. But as far as trying things out before deciding whether I like them or not, if it's like a shampoo or a conditioner or a hair treatment, I want to see that that's making an actual difference in my hair. So I'll try that out at least, 2 to 3 times. But if it's something more instant, like a hair color, like a temporary hair color, sometimes I'll get those. If I like the result of it, then I'll do that. But mostly, if it's like a hair product, like a styling product, like a scrunchie or a headband or something, I'll know pretty instantaneously if I like it or not.
Okay. So I'm sure one question that a lot of people are wondering right now, and you don't have to give us anything exactly, but do you get paid for it?
Yeah. So most of what TikTok creators make, and I think this is pretty universal, is not from the creator fund. So I'm actually not even on the creator fund anymore, just because there's some things, I mean, I'm not sure if it's proven, but some people say it makes your views lower. And when I first went and did the creator fund, I noticed my first 3 videos, just my views plummeted. So I figured stay safe and not do it, because even then you don't get paid much from TikTok itself. Pretty much 100% of what I'm making from TikTok is through ads or through companies paying me as part of a marketing campaign. So yeah, at first I started doing TikToks just for free, in exchange for free product. But now I do either a flat free rate, or if they pay me per view. Typically nowadays it's more like, this is what we'd like, these are the deliverables, we'll pay you X amount of money, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah.
So you mentioned before that you stopped posting as much because school started. So have you lost any sponsors, or have they emailed you back, maybe being like, hey, why haven't you posted, or anything like that sort of thing?
No, so I have long-term partnerships with a lot of these companies. If it's a specific campaign, they'll if it's it's usually for a specific product, so it really doesn't matter how much I'm posting. Today, for example, I had a few brands reach out to me, say, hey, these are the campaigns we're working on, and we want this up by November 31st, something like that, November 30th. So that really doesn't really matter, but as other brands do look and say, oh, are they uploading, are they active, things like that. So those things do matter, but I've never had someone back out of a deal because I wasn't on TikTok. So, but yeah, it definitely helps to get more deals if you're more active and things like that.
That's what I was going to ask you too, because if you're being a full-time student, and I know you're a very busy person, you're involved in a lot of stuff. So when right now you said you took a break, but before, how hard was it to manage all your time between being a full-time student, being involved in all your student organizations, and then being TikTok famous and posting all that?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, just because I love having a routine. I love knowing when I'm going to get things done. And with a lot of these deals and a lot of just making TikToks in general, you have to plan around a lot of things, because you never know when you're going to get an email because it's not just, posting a brand reaching out saying, I want you to make a video. You make the video and you upload it. You have to get your draft approved. You have to do the revisions. You have to send in the captions. It's a bunch of back and forth. So having to sit in class and see an email pop up and make sure I can respond, it's definitely a lot to multitask, but it's really rewarding, and I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was worth it.
So when you post a video, you actually have to get everything approved. It's not like you're just going on TikTok, you just posting it and it goes right out there. You're emailing them saying hey, is this, like you said, is this caption cool? Is this angle cool? I'm assuming, or a bunch of different stuff like that.
Yeah. So I've even run into, companies where they have a lot of asks, and they have a lot of, little criterias, little things that you wouldn't even think of. One company I went back and forth with sent in maybe 6 or 7 drafts, because either I didn't show the final, the hair accessory for too long, or they didn't like the specific lighting of one clip, and then, things like that. It's just a lot of back and forth. So yeah, when I first started, if it's a smaller brand, usually they don't care. But if you're working with these big companies like L'Oreal, things like that, they're paying you and they want to make sure it's up to their expectations and to what your content that you put out is, because it's hard to find a balance between being authentic and showing the product. You know, it's
Right.
about finding the happy medium, because you never want to make something feel like this is a product, please buy it. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my biggest thing. I don't want to make it. So it's always, you know, kind of going back and forth between what they want and what I think is going to look most authentic.
Okay. Has there ever been a time where maybe one of those companies are kind of angry that, or has there ever been a time where, let me rephrase this whole question.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been a time where a company wanted you to try a product, but you didn't like that product? And like, how would you convey that back to them? Like, yo, this ain't it. I'm not rocking with this.
So I had a specific company I'm thinking of, but they, you know, I'd worked with them in the past on a different product they had. So we had a good relationship, which makes it even more difficult. But I just had to be straight up to them. And it was like a hair tool. So like something I'm using to style my hair. And I emailed them and say, hey, I'm really sorry, but this just is not, this was something that I found challenging to use. So if I think it's challenging, my audience will probably think it's challenging. And I never want to put them in a position where I feel like they feel like I'm selling out or just selling something because I have it. And they were actually surprisingly very understanding. I know tons of people have run into, you know, companies or, well, you still have to make a video because we sent it to you. But I won't sign any contracts if I don't like the product. So luckily I've never gotten into that ordeal where I've had to put something up even if I didn't like it. But I have had to be like, listen, like, this is no offense to you or anything, but for this, these were the specific, because I never want to like knock a brand down, but I'm like, these are the specific things the specific issues I had with the product, and here's why I can't do this. And they were very understanding, so I'm thankful for that.
Okay. And then one question I wanted to ask you about earlier, I should ask this way earlier, but you were mentioning the TikTok fund and how you mentioned that you don't know if it's true or not, but from your experience, it kind of is. How you mentioned that once you went in it, you saw your views for a couple videos go down. Can you maybe just explain what the TikTok fund is a little bit more, and maybe why someone doesn't need to go in it? Because I'm sure maybe a lot of people who are watching this are thinking like they want to be TikTok famous too, and maybe they're thinking about the creator fund. So can you explain to them why maybe you don't need to go into that creator fund?
Yeah. So essentially what the creator fund is, you know, being paid through TikTok, being paid per view. So say you have a video that does really well, you'll get paid in proportion to how well the video did. The thing, and TikTokers have complained about this, it's not fair to what these views are, what people are raking in and things like that. So I think because I was on TikTok before the creator fund was a thing. Okay. So when everyone was hearing about, oh, there's going to be a fund, because there should be one. Like in YouTube, people get AdSense, things like that's monetization. So people were really excited about it. And at this point, I was already being paid by companies. Not as much as I am now, but I was being paid a little bit. And after even being on the fund, like what I was making on the creator fund versus what I was being made from companies directly was like not even comparable. So I just completely ditched it altogether. And I mean, it was a while ago when I joined it pretty much immediately and left after a few weeks. So It might be fixed now. I'm not exactly sure, but I also don't want to,
right.
You know, I'm fine right now without it. So I don't really need to, but I think if anyone did want to, you know, pursue TikTok and think, oh, how am I going to make money off of this? How am I going to profit? And, or, you know, because a lot of people with the creator fund, you need to be 18 years old. You need to have 100,000 followers. You need all these things. And I think so many people are caught up in, oh my gosh, you know, my videos are doing good, but I don't have this many followers. I don't have 100,000. Like, how am I supposed to be paid for these? But if companies see you and they like what they're doing and they think that you'll be good at marketing their product, then the emails will come in. So. Okay.
Then one of my last questions is, do you have any regrets, whether that's about the creator fund, a brand you worked with, how you conducted business, or anything like that? Do you have any regrets, and do you wish you could have done something differently?
Yeah, definitely. I think I have regrets in the sense of being too trusting with some of these other companies. Like I said, I had no clue what I was doing in the beginning. I was 18 years old when I first started. I didn't know anything about TikTok and people being paid. And there was one specific instance where there was a company that I had worked for a few times, and we didn't even have any sort of contract, which is like my main regret, I think, in a nutshell, being like not signing contracts with these companies. But I had made a few videos with them prior, and they had gotten like, I think my first video got like 3 million views, and the second one got like 2 million views. And they weren't paying me a lot, but this was because I had first started. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey, I would like an advance in my payment, or I would like, an increase in my payment because what I'm putting out and what the sales I'm making for you, because I would get a percentage of the sales. So I could see how much they were selling. So I said, what you're making is not equivalent to what I'm being paid for.
Right.
Especially because I was one of the only creators they were going through. So I was generating a lot of their sales, a big majority of them. And I said, I would like, a little bit more. And they're like, well, we don't have the budget for that. So I'm like, okay. But I made another video with them. They're like, we're really banking on this video. And I think that video, the third one I made for them, I think it got somewhere like 200,000 views. So it's still not bad, but nowhere close to what these other videos made.
Mm-hmm.
And so it came time for me to be like, hey, and I'm communicating through DM. I didn't even have their email because they would not communicate through email. I'm like, hey, video's up. Let me know when you can pay me. They're like, actually, your video did not do as well. We were really banking on it. We didn't pay other people because we thought yours was going to do so well. So now we can't pay you. And so that was just like, there's nothing legally I could do about that because we didn't have a contract. So things like that where it's like, I screwed myself over. I maybe should have known better. And it's unfortunate because you think even if this is a brand that we've had good communication with and I've made good videos for them and I've made them money, they still can turn around and, do that.
Do whatever they want.
I think going in too trusting, not signing contracts, not, being legal about all of it would be my biggest regret.
Okay. Then other than that, do you have any other advice that maybe you want to give anyone that's just thinking about going into TikTok, just very general advice?
Yeah. I know it's so cliche and know it's so cheesy, but I'd say be yourself. I think a lot of people get caught up in, why aren't I going viral and things like that. But if you're doing something you love and you're doing something original, then you can only succeed. I think so many people try and do what other people are doing, and that's where, you yourself aren't going to be, an individual if you're trying to do what the person next to you is doing.
Comparison's a thief of joy. Remember that, yo.
Yeah, and I think my story especially is inspiration for anyone to be like, it can happen. Like, my first video went viral, and it's just about what can you do with that? Because it's pretty easy to go viral on TikTok, but it's a matter of, okay, responding to your audience, what did they like about this video, and trying things out, trying to be creative, but also being yourself and listening to what people want. And I think that's probably the best way to get out there. All
right, cool. So other than that, you just want to plug in you want to plug your TikTok, Instagram, whatever, so they can all follow you?
Yeah, sure. It's at AANNAPRIMAVERAA. So Anna Primavera with 2 A's in the front and the back.
Make sure to go follow her, y'all. She's a dope person. Make sure to go follow her for sure. But that wraps up this weekly Waddle. Me and Nate going to be back here next week with another banger for y'all. Anna, we all appreciate you coming in here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll catch y'all next week.